I need your power in this very hour. I need your glory, so I won't have to worry. I need your presence. That's why I give you reverence. Oh Lord, I need you. I need your deliverance for spiritual clearance. I need your healing to free me from this feeling. I need your grace. I'll forever give you praise. Oh Lord, I need you. Like the flower needs the rain, like a portrait needs a frame, like an old man needs a king. I need you. Like a bird needs to sing, like a bell needs the rain, like a crown needs a king. I need you.
I need your guidance when my voices have been silenced. I need your direction when I lost my connection. I need your protection when I have no weapon, no. Lord, I really need you. Like the flower needs the rain, like a portrait needs a frame, like an old man needs a cane. Lord, I need you. Like a bird needs to sing, like a bell needs to ring, like a crown needs a king. You know I need you.
Yes, I do, Jesus. Like a bird needs to sing, like a bell needs to ring, like a crown needs the head of a king. I need you.
You know I need you, Lord.
Oh Lord, I need you. Oh Lord, I need you. Oh Lord, I need you. I need you. Oh Lord, I need you.
Oh Lord, I need you.
Oh Lord, I need you. Oh Lord, I need you. I need you. I tell you, I need you. Standing at the crossroads of my life, I need you. Need you to make it right. I can't make it on my own.
No.
Need you to help me to stay strong. I feel like giving up, but I need you to fill my cup.
I need you.
Hey! I need you, I need you, I need you. I need you. I got tears in my eyes that I need you to wipe. I can't make it on my own.
No.
Need you to help me to stay strong. I feel like giving up, but I need you to fill my cup.
I need you.
Hey! I need you, I need you, I need you. I need you. I got tears in my eyes that I need you to wipe. Oh Lord, trouble in my way, don't know if I can make it. Don't even make it. I know I need you. I know I need you.
I am excited about what this day has in store for us in terms of favor and blessings. Do me a favor, would you hit the share button and just share this message? Somebody needs this teaching that you know. I promise you it's going to change their lives. You have just tuned in, and if you've been following me for the last 2 weeks in this new series, this breakthrough series entitled, I Have to Break Up With You. This is the third installment. We started out understanding our need to break up with trust issues. And then in our second installment, we learned the importance of the necessity of breaking up with emotionally unavailable people or relationships. And in this third series, this third installment, we're going to talk about breaking up with overthinking. I want to use Psalm 94 in verse number 19 just for a scriptural backdrop for our lesson. The Bible says, in the multitude of my thoughts within me, thy comforts delight my soul. In the multitude of my thoughts, there are so many thoughts. They are scattered. They are plenteous, but it is the Lord who comforts our soul. Have you ever considered or realized that you overthink quite a great deal? Have you ever found yourself from time to time saying, you know what, maybe I'm overthinking this. Does this sound familiar to you? Because the truth of the matter is all of us from time to time overthink. And we are almost prone to overthink. There are a lot of decisions that are bombarding us. There are a lot of moves that are dependent upon our decision making and our clear judgment. And so often we find ourselves in a place where we are overthinking. Have you ever been in this chronic cycle of not being able to relax, or you've heard yourself very repeatedly saying things like, I just can't turn my brain off. I try to lay down, I try to close my eyes, but my mind is still going literally 100 miles an hour. And so overthinking can take many forms. It generally begins to manifest when we're in this endless deliberating cycle, where you're always deliberating, never quite making any very definite decision. You are questioning everything all the time, but you are never making any intentional or very definite decisions. And it's interesting because from time to time, all of us overthink matters. We overthink responses. We overthink reactions. And really what overthinking is, it is this loop your mind gets trapped in. And as I thought about it, as I looked over my life in moments where I found myself just habitually overthinking, it's like this loop that your mind gets trapped in. It's like If you're old enough to remember record players, when you would put a record on and it would have a scratch in the record, then the needle would be stuck there and just keep repeating the same phrase or the same line or the same lyric, just repeats itself over and over and over again. And most of you who are watching knows exactly what it feels like to be stuck in this overthinking loop. Keep overthinking everything. I can't make any decision. It hinders progress, certainly stifles any kind of productivity in your life because you become overly obsessed with overthinking. Have you ever been stuck at a period in your life wondering in your mind how much differently your life would be or could have been if you had done things differently? I'm probably sure that we all have, or some may be at this point now, where you are literally consumed by the what ifs. Whenever you are contemplating a great deal of what ifs, it could mean that you are stuck in this overthinking loop. You become so consumed by wondering what might have been that you don't have the energy to project what still can become in your life. And so when you are overthinker, it is literally at the core an issue with you having the inability to get out of your own head. That's really what it boils down to at the core. When you are an overthinker, you can't get out of your head. You become stuck. You want to see things the way you want to see them. You hear things the way you want to hear them. And based on how you see things, how you hear things, how you perceive things determines how you will process them. And it could mean that you are in a place where you are simply overthinking. When you tend to just sit and overthink, your internal monologue and narrative is predominantly focused on worrying. When you are a person who is overthinking, then your whole internal monologue, the things that you hear internally, is laced with worry. And this is a very specific type of worrying. It's the kind of worrying that is determined and often seems obligated to make negative predictions about your future livelihood, the future of your life. And you can detect it because overthinkers have a distinct language. And this language is influenced by their chronic worrying. And they say things like, I'll never advance in life no matter what I do, how hard I try, it's never going to happen. And you have to identify this pattern if you are going to interrupt it. You have to identify it if you are ever going to have the ability to interrupt it. So when you are overthinking, you are diverting attention and energy that is necessary to pull you out of mental, emotional, and spiritual ruts and direct you to overall healthier routes in life. That is important. When you are overthinking, you're diverting the attention you need in order to pull yourself out of certain ruts in life, out of certain stages of stagnation in your life. But because you're giving so much attention to overthinking, then you are making no progress. When we overthink, it's interesting because when overthinking goes unchecked, it takes a toll on your overall well-being. I like to say it like this, that when you overthink, generally you underact. And consequently, life doesn't go anywhere. It makes no progression because you are so prone to just keep overthinking and underacting. Because when you are engaged in overthinking, you are usually disengaged from everything that is necessary. In other words, if you're in a place where you're just sitting around overthinking, contemplating, prolonging, dragging out things, then it means that you are disengaged from the necessary. And you are so committed to the non-essential things that your life can never make the kind of progress that it needs to make. And so you're in a place where you're overthinking. Now, it's not to say that what you are thinking about is trivial, but it is to say that it's time consuming. That when you're overthinking, it's not necessarily that you are thinking about things that are trivial necessarily, But whatever it is you're thinking about, it is too time consuming and it's counterproductive for you in order to reach your goals, your objectives, and your dream, because you are so consumed, especially when you are drawing these conclusions, you're not getting any closure on any matter. You're just thinking and overthinking, and that overthinking is not bringing you any closer to any resolve, any kind of conclusion, or any kind of closure in your life. Then you have to take dominion over your mind to cease the overthinking activity in order to start moving in the direction you want your life to go. Here's the reality. Most understandings in life or in relationships or in the world for that matter could be avoided if people would simply take the time to simply ask, what else could this mean? That is important because when you overthink or when you're an overthinker, you often reach unfounded assumptions. You assume that this is what they tried to convey, and based on what you assume they tried to convey, you overreact based on an assumption that you've made without it being verified. So when you are an overthinker, it would behoove you to pause for a moment and say, what else could they have meant by this? What else could this mean? I could simply be misinterpreting what they are trying to convey, and ultimately that will be the ruin of relationships, partnerships, business relationships, because you misinterpreted based on an assumption. So when you're an overthinker, you start moving based on unfounded assumptions. But not only that, when you overthink, it results in you rushing to the conclusion that you have overestimated your abilities, your talents, or your gifting. Now, that is critical because sometimes you overthink so much that you start thinking that maybe I've overestimated myself. It's one thing to underestimate yourself. It's another thing to feel like you've overestimated yourself. When you start overthinking it, well, maybe I'm not as good as I thought, and maybe I don't have as much gift or skill as I convinced myself that I had. And so when you start overthinking, it starts getting you to create this self-doubt imagery in your mind, and you start concluding that you've overestimated your ability. Not only that, but when you are overthinker, it causes a decline in your urgency sensitivity. In other words, you think things will be fine and move at the pace of your deliberation. You think that life won't move until you make a decision to participate in it or not. Not realizing, ladies and gentlemen, that by the time you wait and do all your assessments and evaluations of certain situations, you will realize that opportunities do not just sit idly and wait for overthinkers. Consequently, people who overthink miss out on a great deal of opportunities because you keep trying to talk yourself out of what God is trying to talk you into. There are some opportunities that will never come to overthinkers. If you're sitting around thinking, well, until I make a decision, then nothing's going to happen, you are horribly wrong. Life is still going to happen. Moves are still going to be made. The only challenge is that opportunities tend to pass by overthinkers. Now, how do I overcome this overthinking issue that I have? Number one, you have to disrupt the destructive mental cycle by interrupting it with a constructive distraction. It sounds like a lot, but it's really pertinent for you. How am I going to break this overthinking cycle? I got to disrupt this destructive mental cycle, because that's what overthinking is. It's a disruptive, destructive mental cycle. And the only way for me to overcome it is to interrupt it with a constructive distraction. I gotta intentionally take my mind and put it in a place that's going to be beneficial to me. I cannot just let my mind go wherever it wants to go. You've lived long enough now to realize that your mind will go. If you let it go, if you take the reins off your mind will go everywhere. But what you have to do is that you have to interrupt this destructive cycle by presenting it with some constructive distraction. You got to do something that pulls your mind out of this cycle of overthinking, that pulls your mind into a place of rational thinking, of deliberate thinking, and of godly thinking. So if I'm going to overcome this overthinking, then I've got to interrupt it with constructive distraction. Number two, I've got to stop rehearsing traumatic moments and toxic experiences. That is critical. Here's what you need to get in your spirit. Just because you remember it does not mean you have to keep reliving it. Overthinking keeps things that should be dead alive. When you start overthinking things, it means that you are still recycling past experiences, particularly those experiences that have been the most traumatic moments of your life, those that have been the most toxic in your life, and you keep reliving it because you will not release it out of your mind. You will not let yourself feel that you are no longer under the obligation to keep reliving moments that have been traumatic and moments that have been toxic. I will say it to you again. Just because you remember it does not mean you have to keep reliving it. So if I'm going to overcome this, I've got to disrupt this destructive mental cycle by interrupting it with a constructive distraction. Number two, I've got to stop rehearsing traumatic moments and toxic experiences. Number three, I've got to stop replaying conversations I've had with people over and over in my head, with the objective being to find the hidden meaning in what they said. Now, again, that is detrimental to your spirit, your soul, your mind, just about every faculty that you have. You ever had a conversation with somebody and then you go back home and you replaying it, you on your way home, you're driving it. Then the conversation is going back in your head and you're trying to figure out what they meant by this, and you're trying to find, they were talking real slick, and you think you're trying to find some subtle undertone of what it was that they really meant, when you are doing no more than fishing for something that's not there because of this overthinking impulse that you have. But you have to stop replaying things in your mind, trying to make things mean what they were never meant to mean. It's going to be distracting, it's going to be discouraging, and it's ultimately going to set you back in ways that you cannot even realize. So I have to stop replaying those conversations. Number four, I've got to stop being regretful and consumed by thinking about all the things you wish you had or had not done. Overthinking puts you in a place. Overthinking literally is the precursor for a cycle of regret. Because you, like me, have moments in my life that if I just kind of focused on it, oh my God, there are a whole lot of things I wish I wouldn't have done. There are a whole lot of things I wish I would have done. But the truth is, there's nothing I can do about those moments. They are gone. They are not coming back. I have to decide that if I'm going to live productively, that I have to really begin to break up with this overthinking. It's severing relationships, it's severing connections with people because I am always overthinking. Number five, and finally, you got to start combating your thoughts. You have to start combating these negative thoughts that are generated by overthinking that can only picture you in a worst case scenario. In other words, when you're an overthinker, when you overthink, it never puts you in a promising place. It always shows you a picture of yourself in a less than desirable outcome. It always shows you in a place of a worst case scenario. But you must recognize that your thoughts can be exaggerated and excessively negative. These unhealthy thinking patterns have to be replaced, or inevitably they are going to be repeated. And if you, this week, whatever your assignment or your to-do list is, include on that to-do list that I have to break up right now. Before the day is over with, I have to break up with overthinking. If you can break up with overthinking, you're getting ready to see a degree of clarity that you've never seen before. You're going to have a fresh perception that you never thought was possible about your life and about the outcome of your life. But today is the day. Hear me, you have to declare, today I break up with overthinking. Well, it is giving time. I sure hope you have been blessed by this message. I hope it has caused you to think and rethink some things. We're getting ready to prepare to bless the Lord and be a blessing to this ministry. The giving means are right here at the bottom of your screen. Choose the one that's the most convenient for you and make a kingdom investment. Those of you who are tithing, who are connected with this ministry, I want you to release the Lord's tithe. It belongs to Him. No question about it. It's not up for negotiation. We honor the Lord with our tithe. And then I want you to prepare a seed on today. I want as many of you that are watching me to make a kingdom seed investment of $50. I want you to plant this seed. I want you to go now. Don't overthink it. Don't you do it. If you overthink it, you will underact. And underacting will keep you in a place of inactivity for longer, I promise you, than you want to be. When you hear the instruction, the Bible says that the day you hear my voice, don't harden your heart. Don't overthink it. Obey. Obedience is better than overthinking. And I want you to put seed in the ground, and I want you to watch how God miraculously increases you in everything that pertains to you. So give right now. God's going to bless you real good. Well, this is the time that I want to extend an invitation to you to receive Jesus Christ as your Lord. Maybe you're watching today and you've been having a sense in your heart and your spirit that you need more than life has to offer. Nothing you've done has been able to fill that void that you've been feeling for quite a while now. There is a void in your life that's in all of our lives until we receive Jesus Christ as the Lord. So today, if you're watching and you're receiving the Lord Jesus Christ, or you're backsliding, you want to restore your relationship with Jesus Christ, or you just need a church home, you need a place of fellowship, a place to anchor your spiritual connection with. If you fall under any of these categories, there is an email address right here at the bottom of your screen. I want you to go now. Send your contact information, and our incredible staff are going to reply to you and help further facilitate this decision on this day. Well, I've certainly enjoyed my time with you. I pray that God's favor is falling upon you, and I hope you can feel the blessing of the Lord that has connected with you this day. Listen, don't forget to follow us, connect with us on all of our social media platforms everywhere. Don't forget to tune in and partner with us every single week right here. You're watching New Home TV, and I got to go for now, but I will see you on next time.